So let's first do the design of the team presentation, a history of science and technology regional. So, good morning everyone. I am Colin Olis. I am a web and multimedia project manager at the Musée des Arts Antiques, which is a museum located in Paris. And presents a collection of the history of science and techniques from antiquity to nowadays. So there are 3 floors, 6,000 square meters, 4,000 artifacts, and the collection is divided in 7 different domains of collections: scientific instruments, material, construction, communication, energy, mechanic, transport, and also a secularized church. The museum's team who works in this project, there is a person of each department which is involved in the project, and this is very important for us to combine the skills of each of those persons. So the task of this team is first a way to choose the artifact in a goal of communication, also to study the use, constraints and needs of visitors, also to select, create, organize the contents and also scenario in a very pedagogical way, to find the existing content in the center of documentation, and also to participate at the end of the project to the evaluation of the ARtSENSE project. So what would be the added value of adaptive augmented reality? Today we have objects in 3D. Most of those objects are under showcases. There are no motion objects. So actually this creates a kind of frustration for the visitors, as they can't touch, but also can't understand sometimes if there is no explanation. So with adaptive augmented reality, the system could enable visitors to see the machine functioning. The system could also assist the visitors to understand a complex physical phenomena. This is even more possible due to the use of the rich contents around, well, history, technique, but also the possibility to link maybe objects to other ones. And this rich content could also be presented on different supports: video, sound, text, visual. And this would be even more interesting for us that the ARtSENSE could propose the adaptation to the profile and expectations of the visitors. So, we had to integrate several constraints in order to select the appropriate artifact within the project. And those constraints were first a rich discourse of the object. We had to select an object which could be studied from different angles, scientists and techniques of course, but also in a historical and sociological way. It was also important to identify all existing contents of the museum so that to complement the rich pitch around the object. It was also important to identify technical constraints like the sound, the light, not too much light, so that to see the artifact with the system, and the 3D modeling. I'm sorry, I just come back. Okay, and also the location of the artifact, so that the visitor can go around the artifact and use the system in his best way. So the challenges also were to select an artifact so that to be able to maybe to propose a tour into the museum with linked objects, and also maybe to have also artifacts under showcases so that to test the system in its best way. Thank you.
Hi, I'll introduce myself. My name is Roger McKinley, and I'm the Research and Innovation Manager at FACT in Liverpool. I've been told we've got about 5 minutes to kind of compress to talk down to, so I might, if I talk too quickly, please someone tell me so and I'll try and slow down. So the Foundation for Creative Technology is in Liverpool, in the UK, and we are the premier site, effectively in the UK for new media art and the commissioning of new media art. Now, we're slightly different in this particular consortium in that we don't actually particularly have artifacts that we deal with, so that threw up some particular challenges for us. On the screen here is a picture of the building itself, or at least the corner of it, excuse me. And our 5 core values. Now, from our point of view, from FACT's point of view, we thought that the ARtSENSE project does actually reach and engage with at least the first 4 of these core values. And we look to try and integrate the 5th of our core values, which is around diversity, into some of the user test cases that we've been developing. As I say, we are a contemporary art and new media space. We've been open as a building since 2003, but FACT has been operating as a commissioning space since 1989. We're situated in the Rope Walk Square, the Rope Walks area of Liverpool, which is known as the cultural and knowledge sector of Liverpool. So within an easy walk of 3 of the main universities in the city, one of which is LJMU, who demonstrated some of the biosensing equipment slightly later on. So we've been working quite closely with LJMU, obviously, because of the location, to develop some of our projects with ARtSENSE. So here's some shots of the interior of the building and also the exterior of the building. You'll see in the middle shot there we've deliberately designed the building with art presentations in mind, both inside and outside the building, and that was important for us in how we work with the ARtSENSE project. As I say, we don't have artifacts, but as on screen there is actually an artifact there from Uram Cho, who was part of the Liverpool Biennial in 2008. Once the exhibitions and biennials and shows that we put on finished, those physical objects are actually sent back to the artist. They're not stored in the building. So we don't keep an archive of actual objects, but what we do keep is an archive of material that we create around the events, the artists that are there, the conversations that we have with them. So that forms a core amount of content that we've got to work with the ARtSENSE material. Our core target audiences as an organisation are these. Young people, because they form quite a large percentage of the FACT audience. It's what we call the urban arts eclectics. So it was important for us as we developed the ARtSENSE project and commissions to find a way to communicate quite clearly with that group, but also at the same time working with a more general public, in tourism and cinema goers, because tourism forms a major part of the kind of income of Liverpool. So it has to be able to, so the project has to be able to work on that level as well. And also cinema goers, because within the FACT building we have commissioning spaces and an art gallery, we also have cinema spaces. A large part of what we do as well takes place outside the building, so that we have the spaces to show work. We do a lot of work in the community, both immediately in the vicinity of the building, but also embedded in activities across different communities in the city of Liverpool itself. And finally, we also, because of our programme and our research stream, we attract an arts professional audience too. So the project has to cover a broad range of the public and of professionals. We co-host international symposia and conferences as part of our day-to-day programme. So the artifacts. The first user case that we basically come to is an architectural feature of the building. Now, as I said, there are no actual objects in the building such as artworks. But what we do have is we have a history of the building itself and related to this particular artifact. This is a central architectural feature of the building, and on it are the signatures, you can see there, of various artists, filmmakers and auteurs who've worked with us as part of our programme. And as part of that, we recorded, interviewed, done public works with, work outside of the building and community with. So this gives us our content to work with in terms of the adaptive augmented reality that we did have dealing with. So we'll find out why the person was in the building, when they were in the building, and we'll look at the physiological response to the content we've built around that from the viewer in terms of the biofeedback and the biosensing information. Early on in the project, we had a problem with the 3D recognition, and there's been some significant moves forward in 3D object recognition from a technical side point of view. But to get kind of started, we created this as a representation of a sort of flattened version of the pillar, because it is a full pillar. So, and what I've done here, just to indicate where, if you're looking through the glasses technology as part of the project, where it might indicate that you've locked on to a particular person and a particular signature, which will then open up the augmented experience and the additional information which will be fed to you through the hardware. So I wanted to do as well a quick summary of some of the main motivations of why we were engaged with the ARtSENSE project. First of all, because we were challenging, I think, and we challenged the technology itself to say, well, if it's not dealing specifically with discrete objects, how does it operate within a social space? How does it operate within, how does it pull out history and the history of the building, effectively the hidden story? And how do we use the technology to present that story in the recorded works that we've got as part of our archive? And how do we annotate the actual architecture itself? So how can we increase or augment or develop the user experience of the building without a discrete object to look at? And also how we wanted to engage with this in terms of working with other cultural heritage institutions who do perhaps have objects, but also who have and to the technical partners to build that experience. It's missing. Alright, so there is one more slide, because that's the first user case. I'm just going to go back to it to show you. The pillar, the signature pillar, the VIP signature pillar is the first user case, but actually we're sort of moving now into a second user case, and this is about working with an artist, because that's what we do. In fact, we're a commissioning agency. We develop new work. We develop work which essentially is going to go into the sort of heritage sector beyond the life of the exhibition at some point we hope in the future. And as part of that process, we decided, and there was agreement amongst the consortium, that it would be a really good idea to actually work with a particular group of artists to develop that commission, and specifically working with the technology in the project. So we approached several. We did a sort of limited call out for submissions, and we did a short list for artists. And we got down unanimously, I have to say, to one artist group which is called Manifest AR, who are here today. They're fantastic. They're probably, along with Maurice, probably one of the leading practitioners in augmented reality as an artwork. And they will be working with us from now over the next 2 years towards an exhibition in 2013, lost 10 years, where we will showcase not just the work that they've made as part of the project, but also the ARtSENSE project as a whole. So that gives us a significant dissemination opportunity. So at this point, I'd like to hand over to Will Pappenheimer and Tom Patel, who will be giving you an indication of some of the work that they do. I think they also have some slides which will show you, where they might take this particular project in relation to facts. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Will Pappenheimer. This is Tamiko Teal. She's sitting down here. I guess you can see the slides. Yes, you can see the slides. We are two members of Manifest AR, which is up to 20 members internationally. And here's some of us in the slide. And we became interested in this technology. So we became interested in this technology in October of 2010, I believe, when the technology became available to everybody in their cell phones, especially through a program called Layer. And we suddenly thought, well, if augmented reality is possible for everybody, there is a public space, and this public space for right now is open. So the first project we worked on was to create an entire exhibition in the Museum of Modern Art on the different floors of the museum, and we didn't announce it to the museum until the day of the opening of the show. And you can see a little bit how it works, where you can locate artworks in different places on a Google type map, and then you can decide the height of those so that we could establish the different objects on different floors. Let's go to the next slide. So when we opened the exhibition, we just put it out there that we were having the exhibition. It was a little bit like a flash mob. Everybody came. The museum seemed to be very happy later on. There were 350,000 tweets related to this project. Here are members going throughout the exhibition. Next slide. And this is a little bit what it would look like as you look through your cell phone. Essentially, you're seeing through the video camera of your cell phone, but in between that, you're seeing a three-dimensional object that you can move around in, but you can see everything that's happening behind. So it's a little bit like looking through a looking glass, if you will. Thanks. Yes?
So after MoMA, the question was, what can we do to up the ante here? And I thought, well, how about the Venice Biennial? So last year, I led the intervention into the Venice Biennial, addressing very specifically the theme of national pavilions, the illuminations theme of the biennial, and said, how can we address that as AR artists? So for instance, John Craig Freeman put refugee shacks for people fleeing from water wars inside the protected curatorial space of the Giardini. And Bill's project was taking artwork that was being exhibited by real artists and having it leak out into the virtual domain on his virtual toads that we also spread out to the Giardini. I went into the German National Pavilion, which was exhibiting the work of Schlingensief, and made this memorial, which is part of a series of works on censored artists, and you might know Schlingensief was censored several times, and lots of people would have liked to censor him even more. So what you see, that's my work, is these terms of censorship in the outline of Schlingensief, and it's floating inside the German National Pavilion, which also won the Golden Lion Award this year. I was very pleased.
We also work, to give you a sense of the different types of work we work, you can do in this. This is interactive game-based AR. This was another piece done for the biennial. And in this one, an outside person anywhere in the world could create instantly a pavilion, and as you know, those cost a lot of money, and you have to be curated in, but someone could do it instantly, and then within the Giardini, other people could come around and delete the pavilions in order to protect the space of the big biennial. Here is a text-based interactive piece where users can insert their own text into a kind of crowd and create crowd bubbles. Here's another work where this is an entire sculpture covering the entire Earth that anyone can see from anywhere, and if you decide to change the mood or the color of it, anyone from around the world can change it, and anyone will be able to see that. We've also worked a little bit with marker-based AR, which it recognizes a little bit similar to what we'll talk about today, which recognizes an image. Here we're recognizing various icons and so on, logos, and in a sense subverting them to call to attention to things like the BP oil spill, or here in the United States, the relationship between the United States and China.
We also do a lot of work in public squares, in protest, but also incorporating historical and cultural memory. So for instance, I made this piece called Jasmine Rain Birdcage to commemorate the Jasmine Revolution. So this is actually an animated piece where you see the blossoms falling from the sky, and I've placed it in Tahrir Square in Cairo, also in Tunis. But because these are unfinished revolutions, if you will, express my concern for the future, you're also enclosed inside of a cage. So this thing is all around you. You can see the promise of the falling flowers, but you're inside of a golden cage. And Art posed the question, what will the future bring? We also occupy Wall Street, of course, and you might know that the stock exchange in Wall Street is blocked off, so you can't actually get there. Protesters can't actually get there. So, one of our members put out a call for us all to put our augments there to, if you will, attack the stock exchange. And also put, you can see down here in the corner, perhaps if I sit down, you can see that he also got cutouts of people holding protest signs, and they're directly in front of the stock exchange building with GPS coordinates locating there. And then Will also has done some virtual skywriting, so you will be able to put your own messages huge against the sky.
We've worked quite a bit with architecture. Some of our members are very involved in the architecture world. Here's, very quickly, here is full-size versions of the Manhattan and Brooklyn bridges, but the idea is that they need to be changed so they are detached from their moorings and rotating around as if they were Leonardo da Vinci's rotating bridge. Revolving bridges. Here's a work that I did which proposed to assist dilapidated areas of abandoned buildings where we would create a primordial forest, so you can essentially touch these pads and grow your own forest and so on. And then Tomiko, again, here is augmenting an entire space with text, if you will, so you can put text over buildings and so on. We've also done, usually we do a kind of tour, so we're able to put different objects in. This is a very small town in Vermont, and the idea was there was these strange objects appearing in different parts of the city, and then we're able to take a group of people around with their cell phones and to look at the different things that are appearing. We're also able to take a social conflicted space, if you will, and then augment. So we're almost done here. This is just a very quickly a little bit of our proposal to fact, where, and it's a series of slides I need to explain more, but we're hoping to link this technology up with biosensing such that the biosensing will influence the augments that people see, okay? And to what level we can do that, this is certainly still a question, and there'll be many ways that people can see this from both the outside and the inside. So that's pretty much our presentation. The last thing we want to just invite you to do after the presentation is outside of the Louvre Pyramid. We've put many new augments, and you can go out and see them, and here's the connection. If you would like to talk to us, we can get you to see them afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks for your attention.